And we will not be satisfied until we overcome this tendency in us to depend upon the opinions of people outside of our community as to our worth. We have to be responsible for our own progress. And when we are shown to have accepted that responsibility in every measure, where we have accepted responsibility to strain in our intellect, to answer every problem that we have, and not point at someone outside of our situation, but accept that we have the resources because God made the earth, and He made the earth for all of us, and then we have become aware that circumstances have existed on this earth to prevent us from sharing in these resources. If we have become aware of that, then we should have the ability to strategize and have confidence in ourselves that we can be successful. This is our message. This is the Muslim message. This is the Islamic message. And I have many notes here of teaching from the Holy Quran on justice and what justice is. But essentially, what justice is for us is worship. We are to stand for justice as though we're standing for prayers. And justice for us, in our perception, means that we are just even when we have to point the finger at our own neglect. Allah says that if you do not have this discipline in you to point at your own neglect, then you will swerve from upholding justice. You'll be pointing the finger at others, but not addressing your own shortcomings. And I'm not, so I know some psychologists out there who will be hearing this message and will be receiving this. They'll say, oh, well, he's blaming the victim. No. I'm asking that we not see ourselves as victims. I'm asking that we see ourselves as being responsible for human community, and that eventually that we become responsible for these United States of America. And that by growing from this troubled situation that exists presently, we shoulder the responsibility of this great nation, sharing the responsibility not only as a political voice, political face, political language, but also economic voice, also cultural voice. I'm not satisfied, and not to criticize the poets of the hip-hop culture, I'm not criticizing them, but I'm not satisfied that that's the only presentation for the African-American cultural life. We're not just entertainers and athletes. We have great intellects who have a message and have language for this culture to bring itself out of this period of violent upheaval. And we have such people in the African American Islamic community. You're hearing from me, a man who spent almost a decade in prison and was recently released from prison. And you know, they wanted to say to me that I was not qualified. You take this address that I'm giving you today and you compare it to any address that has been given in the last 12 years since Imam W. Deen Muhammad passed away, and you tell me who is or who is not qualified.